Hello to whoever's listening today.
Hey
I don't know.
guys, this is Z.
And well, I don't really have a pen name to be honest. I don't know what should I keep a pen name. Sure.
I think you could have a new one every episode, maybe.
Yeah. maybe
Maybe.
if someone is listening to me, you can
Yeah,
suggest
and if you're
something. But I
listening to
don't know.
this, you don't need to have an identity for life. You can change people.
You fucking douche. Why? No.
Yeah, but that actually is sort of like a trailer to what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. Like I think okay, just before we go further in, I guess today you can call me 1000-7 because that is something
Hello, thousand
whoever
seven.
whoever gets this, props to you, cookies to you.
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't, but I'm sure there's someone out there who will.
I'm sure. No, but honestly, this is something the two of us have been discussing about for a while now.
And
I'd say.
procrastinated for way too long.
Yeah. Like I mean, it is important. It is something that's been in our heads basically because we want to kind of make a, I don't know, do something productive maybe in the
Yeah.
time we have right now.
Yeah.
Between like finishing up our studies, our MBA, and I don't know, moving further, looking for a job,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, a lot of you can kind of
Like 'cause
connect about.
both of us have had like some really interesting chats in person, and you know we felt that it'd be really cool if we could sort of record them. And
Yeah.
so like imagine this to be a setup where you're just like a third friend who's sort of chatting with us.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like a nice, comfortable, cozy room, and it's more than anything, it's a safe space, like where you can really voice your thoughts out and not be judged, and
Yeah.
at the same time just
And it's not always going to be like a very deep kind of conversation.
Yeah.
We can have stupid conversations. We are going to have stupid,
yeah,
stupid
earlier on we
conversations.
just gave an example and of procrastination as us holding back a fart for 6 months.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when we finally started this today, it felt like that fart
Yeah,
has
that fart
been
has
let
finally
gone.
been released. Oh,
6
but the
months.
feeling of that fart being released is
Yeah.
truly, truly good, dude. it's really nice.
Satisfaction
Yeah,
of
it's
ticking
satisfactory
something
for
off the
sure.
box.
But honestly,
Yeah, so it's
aisa
gonna be-
roz hona.
Yeah, dude.
We need to take steps like this, dude. But anyway, before anything else, we need to first talk about why.
Sure.
Like, why we came up to this and what is the point of today's podcast.
Correct. 1000-7. Would you like to tell us what's the topic for today?
Yes, Z. I will like to tell you what the
You know, it feels so weird to
topic
call us
is.
by these names. At some
Yeah.
point, we might like say what our names are, but this time we decided to go for pen names because of some.
Yeah.
This just sounds cool. But yeah, so
Edgy people in life and cool
Yeah.
people. Anyway.
because we the
But,
Sheeples.
Oh yeah, we are the Sheeples.
Totally-
we never spoke about. Oh yeah, the podcast is called the
Totally
Sheeples, and
forgot.
we've already wasted how much 2 minutes of your time right now.
That's right. But
Okay.
that's how it is with friends, right?
Yeah.
We don't time things.
we don't time things. For sure.
Convenient.
Convenience. Ooh.
Right. Go on. Tell us about the topic for today.
Okay, so the topic for today we wanted to discuss a lot about is mental health and mental health in all aspects. I would say, like, when this is something I don't think we talk about a lot in our normal lives, especially like with other people. We might be facing something. Sometimes we don't acknowledge it to ourselves.
True.
Right? Like we won't be ready to say like I'm facing something right
True.
now, or I'm going through something, and this is something we both really hit like a nail on in general, because I think we both are going through different things right now in our own spaces. Like personally, if I wanted to talk about something, it would be like I want to do a lot. I have plans to do a lot. I want to act upon a lot of things, but I do procrastinate a lot of the time, and I can kind of put myself down. I've also been very introverted throughout like my life, and I've tried to change that a lot, which again I will speak of
Yeah.
in a little bit. But it is something that I've been fighting myself, inner self in general, to be like, you can get out there. You shouldn't be scared to do it, because this is something I want to do, and this is something I'll be more than happy to pursue in my life. But I don't know, it's something that I stop myself from. And even like right now, if we are looking for placements, it is still affecting us that we don't have jobs yet.
Correct.
I know that it's not like the biggest problem in the world and all
Yeah,
that,
but
but it is
In the
something,
moment, it feels like it's pretty important.
Yeah, and it feel like at times these things when you aren't working or when you aren't doing something can make you feel very how can I say put it, like maybe a little you don't have enough value to yourself.
Yeah,
It's not about others feeling that
it's
way
just
about you. It's just
purposeless.
purposeless.
Like you're missing like this grand
Like we don't
bigger
have
thing.
a direction in life. You're just
Yeah.
driving on a road where you don't like have a
Correct.
direction
And you know, for a lot of people, that's cool. Like for I'm sure that for a lot of people who are working right now or who have like who are pulling like 14, 16-hour days, listening to this might feel like we're coming from a position of privilege, which is completely understandable. But it's just that from where we are right now, it's really important to have this, and that's an important part, right? What we're constantly doing in life is just really looking at each other and comparing our battles.
Hmm.
But the thing is, we're not all cut from the same cloth.
Yeah,
Right,
like we're all gonna be different people.
We're going like the context matters, and we're just So that being said, the whole thing about mental health from my side of things is, and we're gonna try and rotate this, right? We'll have 1000-7 talk about his take on it, and I'll have mine. For me, most of my life has been pretty cushy, and if you were to write a book on it, I would seem like a person who's gone through some very comfortable waters. But at the same time, that brought me to this realization that I was talking about, a while ago, is that the tormentor is really inside each of us.
Yeah, that's
You know,
very
you
true.
you really don't need some third person standing and telling you that you're not doing this or you're supposed to be doing this. I have realized that for most part of my life, I have really been the one putting myself down. I mean, I've had supportive.
I think mental health, a lot of it at least is that, right?
Right?
Like us fighting ourselves
Yeah.
to, do something
Yeah.
or reach something, or I don't know. It's like we are in a state we just don't know how to get out of. And
Correct. And
it is
in
our
that
own battle.
convenience, what we do is we just really we'd like to invent this fictional third person that's responsible. Like the government or your
Yeah.
parents or like
Or
rich
some
and powerful
circumstance that is
people,
not like,
or some
yeah, it's
circumstance.
external and we never
right?
think of it as an internal
Exactly.
thing.
But that's the whole point. I mean, I think like headway is being made when you sort of accept that it's within. Like you're the
Yeah.
person who's really demanding so much from you, and you're the person who's really not reaching up to those things.
That is, I think, and again, I concur with the fact that we've been through a very like privileged life
Yeah.
till now.
Yeah, we know the word conquer.
Concur.
Conquer.
Concur.
Sounds weird.
Yeah.
Like a friend's surname who's working at. Yeah. No.
just why. I swear, dude. Just why.
Okay, guys.
But
Ignore.
ignore. But no, I agree with the fact that we've had a very privileged life.
True.
I know that I've been through, but again, having a privileged life doesn't mean you can't have mental issues, or doesn't mean you can't have issues, because everybody, and for each person it's different. Yes, there are some factors that take more
Correct.
precedence than
Yeah.
some others in different lives, and as
Yeah.
we mentioned before, everybody is their own person. They live their own life. They are cut from a different cloths, and
Correct.
it's something that it's kind of something we need to kind of understand and kind of look into ourselves, and maybe kind of get it out as well.
True.
To an extent, because if we don't talk about it, if we let it fester in, I think we get into a state that can take us to some really really bad places.
True.
And
True.
it's important to just have like some kind of person, whether it, even if it's not your friend. For in our case, you can talk about it to us if you
Yeah,
feel
we
like not,
feel-
if you feel uncomfortable to talk to anybody else.
Yeah.
We don't know who you are, you don't know who
Yeah.
we are.
Right.
You can just come talk about your trouble, and it's just something, because we aren't professionals here.
Correct.
We can't give you prescriptions, or we can't give you like professional advice, but what we
Yeah.
can do is lend you an ear that
Yeah. Correct.
a friend can.
Correct.
That someone.
No, that's brilliant, and even if that's not something you're comfortable with, this is something that I used to do a while ago. is before I met this dude, and we had this nice safe space to talk about. I really didn't have a
And
lot
it
of
took us a
people.
while to get this to
Yeah,
this space,
it
right?
took
It's not
us.
easy.
Yeah, so that's
always,
another.
so.
I think that's another key point about safe spaces, right?
Mhm.
You just don't get them overnight. It takes a while. It takes some
Takes a
amount
lot of fart jokes in
yeah.
between. Also, really shitty jokes in
Really
general,
shitty
right?
jokes, puns intended, right?
Yeah.
So you got to keep at it. But like if you don't have such a person in your life, consider just putting on earphones, going to your sound recording, and talk to yourself.
Yeah.
Like that helped me. It doesn't matter what I was going through or how severe or intense it was, but just the fact that I was able to get it out from my mind, because see, in your mind, when you're just thinking it inside your own head, it's just mixed with like a billion other thoughts, and none of those thoughts take importance. They just like, imagine having 100 television sets and 100 channels being switched on at the same time. It's like that. It's too much chatter.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us can relate with that restlessness. But when you sort of switch on that sound recorder and you begin talking about that out loud,
Not unlike what we are doing right now. We just switched on a sound recorder on our phone and we're just talking.
yeah, exactly. So just do that. I mean, I think the whole idea about the past
Mm-hmm.
few things that we've said
Yeah.
is just talk. I mean, like battles have been
Yeah,
averted
like-
because people spoke. Like again, this is not to say that if that solved that, it can solve this, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel
see,
like
it's always something that helps. We aren't
Yeah.
saying this is a solution to
मतलब
everything.
try
It doesn't
कर
have
लो,
to-
like
yeah.
try it out.
इसमें कुछ गलत
हाँ,
नहीं है,
what's the
per se.
worst case, right? You
Yeah.
have a phone recording of yourself and you sound stupid that you can
Yeah,
just delete.
you can kind of laugh at yourself about
Yeah,
it. It doesn't.
oh,
It might
that
just
helps. That helps so
helps,
much. Like
right?
taking
think-
yourself lightly.
Yeah, and
is-
I think one of the biggest things that in this matter, learning to laugh at myself is
Yeah.
something I've learned a lot over the past few years because yeah, it's like basically there is I have had a very interesting time with body positivity, if you want to call it that, and I have gone through a lot of transformation over the year and a half.
ये विकसित हुआ है.
Vikasit. So like it is something that kind of caused me to have a mental block for myself as well, because like I said, I used to be at least a very introverted person. I wouldn't call myself particularly introverted anymore, because I think that has changed a little bit. And again, being introverted isn't bad. Like
Yeah.
I love being alone with myself. I like it gives me time to think. It gives me time to be myself.
Yeah.
And talk and do things that I wouldn't do when I'm with around people, because I guess I feel safe that way, or I feel nice that way. But before this, I used to be a very quiet kid. I didn't have a lot of friends. Like in the college that I was in NM basically, Narsing Manji in Mumbai, I used to kind of like, I never spoke to a lot of people. I did speak to people, but even today, I think there are about 3 to 4 people that I still am in contact with from 1,000 people in my batch.
Correct.
Right? Like there were in a BCom, there were about 1,000 people, and I just speak to 3 to 4, and that also like some of them more than others.
Correct.
More than most of the time at least. And in that time, I had I think I was a lot more self-conscious. I wasn't sure what to do, because I was a very, very, very fat kid. And in school, I remember not feeling really comfortable about it, but I never spoke out about it. I felt like I just felt like people didn't really think a lot of me because I was fat, but that was personally what I thought. I don't think that might have been the case in general.
Yeah, so that's just
But
the tormentor being internal.
That's just
again, right?
my internal tormentor saying that no, you're not good enough.
Yeah,
or you're
it's
not-
a weird case, because it's like you're the jailer and you're the imprisoned together. So you jailed yourself and you don't know who's what.
And in this kept manifesting over the years, right?
Uh-huh.
Like I kind of let myself feel that way, and then at the end I ate more to fill in that void. That void I felt of like, maybe I'm not good enough, and trying to fill that void, I kept eating, and I reached the weight of 185 kgs. 185 is a lot.
Yeah, that's not how much he deadlift. That's how
Oh
much he
yeah,
weighed.
yeah, that's how much I weighed. That's
Yeah.
how much I genuinely weighed.
Yeah.
And
Should have put my phone on silent.
yeah, dude. So unprofessional, man. No,
Yeah, that's how much you weighed.
yeah, that's how much I weighed, and and I think the more I gained weight, the more I kept feeling down on myself. It was like a cycle. It was a cycle that kept going on, and it didn't help me to do things that I really wanted to ahead, right? Like I wanted to take steps to do, like maybe make a profile online, maybe write music. That is something I really want to do. Like if you want to know something about me, it's that I want to make music and I want to get content out there that people can hear. But I have stopped I kept maybe stopping myself mentally to produce anything or make anything because I didn't feel good enough. And that I think I had to fight my own self, like, no, you have the power in this, you have the ability to change yourself. If you have that ability, then why don't you take action? And that's when, in I guess 2018, I decided I have to. That was also the year I got through with into a degree college for an MBA, postgrad degree basically. And that year I was like, okay, I'm moving forward somewhere.
Yeah, this
Right?
dude's a social butterfly now. He's invited to every party.
God
He
damn
be
it.
happening.
No. As much as that, that's funny. No, I did.
No,
Like
but all seriousness,
not only in an introverted way, like
Yeah.
for weight as well, right?
Yeah.
Like I started a diet. I started working out, and I have in the past year and a half, I think I've lost about technically now 2 years. I have lost about
Wow.
65 to 80 kgs almost.
That is a big amount.
Yeah, right. And I feel a lot better. Like I used to wear 6XL t-shirts. Now I'm wearing a double XL to an XL. Like I'm in between that, and that I like the confidence I have after that, the happiness I feel after that. That
Yeah.
I'm doing something, and it feels more so productive to do it, and it kind of like that's why I'm doing this now. Like that's
Yeah.
why I'm here talking to my friend in front of
Yeah.
a freaking phone.
Which we told ourselves to pretend it's not
Yeah.
there.
But we keep looking at it, man.
The candidness.
No. But we keep. This is why we are doing it,
Yeah.
because I think I am confident enough in myself to talk about these.
Yeah.
And I guess that was a part of my journey that I'm happy that happened, because I think I'm the better person for it. I can call myself a little stronger to be able to because I needed to learn to laugh at myself to
Yeah.
reach that place, right?
True.
Like if I wasn't confident, like, oh, I'm fat, I started making
Yeah.
jokes in college about myself.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
how I started
Coming
making
around.
friends. Like I made friends because I was okay with being fat. I didn't care about people. I didn't get angry when someone called me fat. I didn't get sad when someone called me, and like I accepted it.
Yeah.
And then I knew I had to change that because I wanted to change that. Like it's not bad being fat if you're fine, you should be happy with the way you look. But if you do want to change yourself in some way or the other, whether it be gaining weight or whether it be losing weight, it's up to you, and if you feel more happier doing that, then go for it. You shouldn't be forced by people to do it. But then if your health requires it, or whatever, you require it, not only physical health but mentally you require some change. It's up to you to do it, and you can do it.
We
You have
aren't
the
here
power
to
do
like
it.
tell you we aren't here to tell you whether it's healthy or unhealthy, etc.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think what we're really saying is that when you go back home to your thoughts and you're sort of alone and not logged into any social media, and you're just like privately with your own thoughts, are you really happy with where you are? And if you're not, I guess you just know, and then you gotta change.
And the eating thing was one of those things, like it was a habit I got into when I wasn't mentally at the best place, but I didn't ever realize it at the time.
True.
And I don't think anybody else, I think my mom kind of did realize it, because she did say like, oh, why do I keep eating?
Where's my pizza? She's like,
no,
oh wait.
Like, there was a point where I think I ate a pizza every day almost, and I told people I'm doing a diet, but that was my diet, guys. I was eating a pizza every
He ordered one for him and his mom,
and I ate it all.
He ate it all.
No, but I think there are habits we get into without realizing.
True.
When we are, feeling.
Yeah, that's the whole
No.
deal, right? Because we don't take a minute to really jump in with both feet and just pause.
Yeah.
We're always one foot a step ahead and another foot behind. Like the whole idea with realizing what you want or where you really are can only happen if you're sort of intensely in the present moment,
Yeah.
right? But that's probably getting a little ahead of ourselves because we're still looking at we're still trying to talk about what are the problems that are plaguing the modern sheeple of our age, and then
Oh wow, we sound so pretentious.
I know,
right?
privileged pretentious people
Uh,
recording a podcast on 4G
No, but like
internet.
this isn't just for that, right?
Yeah,
Everybody can
of course.
have the issue, and whatever it might be, your issue is like I mentioned about myself, like
Correct.
some things that I've gone through,
Yeah,
and I don't know any of you guys yet, but I think y'all are looking into some part of my life that I was not comfortable looking into myself
yeah.
at a point. So I just hope like if this really gets someone to be confident enough to talk or look into themselves,
Correct.
it would be amazing. I think if this helps in any way, we are glad to be able to be there. But again, if someone is listening to us in general,
Yeah.
so that's the whole thing.
Maybe I'll just create an account and pretend to and I'll comment so we have listeners. No,
हाँ
but
कोई सुन रहा है
कोई सुन रहा है
एक सुना कोई
yeah. No, but I think that sort of goes against the idea. The idea of really doing this was sort of having like an open talk and having this audio journal of our thoughts.
Yeah.
And if it helps somebody out, then that's just a plus one. But let's look at this thing about discounting our own problems.
like I think
Wait, he's prompting me
yeah.
to say something. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean I mentioned so much. What about you, man?
Oh, yeah. Okay, wait. Now comes
मतलब
the part
एक ही बोल रहे थे.
where I disclose my personal life. Yeah. So like I mentioned earlier, the tormentor is inside. Like for me, I've been for the past couple of years been on this whole crusade of protecting the planet and the animals in it. Humans can take care of themselves, but like when I talk about animals, I'm talking about like dogs and cats and whatever other four-legged flying walking animals that are there out there. So I used to be like a very passionate meat eater, and then like a few years ago I let go all of that in the belief that I'm doing wrong. I still miss the taste because like kebabs and tikkas are fine.
I'm a vegetarian, so I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know, but yeah. So I sort of thought that if I would let all of that go, I would help the planet, and then.
And again, I know we sound pretentious, guys. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Before you write it down in our comments,
हमें
look
पता
at these
है.
two bitches.
Like talking about all the food they want to eat and they didn't eat. But yeah, so I think the whole idea was that I let go of a lot of stuff thinking it would
अफ्रीका में लोग खा नहीं पा रहे और ये
Yeah.
लोग खाने का सोच
Yeah,
के नहीं खा
yeah.
रहे. What is this?
it would help the planet, it would help the
Yeah,
animals.
no, but stupid jokes aside. Yeah.
But then like a year or so ago I quit dairy,
Mm-hmm.
and that really started impacting my health. I've been on like a very dairy heavy diet right from the beginning, and this suddenly seemed to have negative effects on the body, and I went through deficiencies and just physically deteriorating and not liking it for the way it was, and that just troubled me a lot. And just a few hours ago I was talking to this guy, and we realized that I was the one who was holding myself hostage and telling
Yeah.
myself not to do this, right? Like, you get it, like the tormentor is really inside. Like nobody else told me to stop this.
I think, see, it's a very noble effort to help the planet, and it is something that's very important right now. But another thing is like if you're trying to help the planet, you also need to be there to be able to help it, right?
Correct.
If you're kind of killing your own self
Yeah.
by doing it, you're not going to be able to help anyone. The first thing you need to do is help yourself before
True.
you start helping others, right? That is the most important thing that you need to do
You
first.
need a more
when you're
sustainable way.
there are other ways to help the planet in general. Whether it doesn't have to be through not eating meat. We can take steps to do
I can
other
eat
things.
meat and tell people to not eat meat.
No,
That would
I
be-
mean, no, I don't think not
You've
eating
given me
meat
a
is the
fine idea.
main problem.
Yeah.
A lot of it, it's more than just eating meat. I think is the way animals are treated.
Yeah, right.
It's not about the fact that we eat, because
was-
nature
it-
eats nature.
the problem
That's a
was
part of the cycle.
bred for slaughter.
That's the issues that come up here is how these animals are treated before they are sent to the quote unquote slaughterhouse,
Yeah.
or in general how we're treating our environment in this matter. And I think that's what really because your mental stance kind of got you to a physical deterioration,
Yeah.
wasn't? And that can happen. Like, you can think you're doing a very noble thing, and it is a noble thing that you're trying to take up. It's not that it isn't noble, or it is a very good idea to do it. It's just that if it's not something that you're able to take yourself, maybe
Yeah.
it is time to know where you need to quit this thing and take some other alternative way into,
Correct.
getting that same kind of answer towards how do I save the
Yeah,
planet,
and
how
it's
do I
it's a
help the
weird
planet.
crossroads to be on, because I always thought I was pretty selfless about this, right? So I put myself on this moral high ground that I'm doing the right thing, and the planet is going to be helped by this. So I thought I was this goody person that's just doing good stuff, and I felt all nice and fuzzy and warm about myself. But the minute I saw it harming myself personally, I had to withdraw, and that sort of really got to me, because I think I just highlighted my own hypocrisy, that I wasn't doing this selflessly. I was still expecting some utopian outlet where if I really go on a plant diet and I quit dairy, I'll just start looking better and feel better. And when that didn't happen, so I think we don't like when this happens in our life, but during some inevitable moments you face a situation where you realize you have to change course. You can't be the same person anymore.
And it's not just in, like, whenever you're faced with your own beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you like, whoopsie.
Yeah, we'll crop that. Okay,
Oh, we'll need to see how to
we'll just had a shibby moment. We'll figure it out.
crop it.
Go on.
How do we crop that?
It's alright.
Hey, for Z. For Z right now. I think we'll get to it whenever we get to it.
Yeah.
But for Z right now, I think one of the biggest things he faced was feeling like a hypocrite, right?
Yeah.
And
True.
that's I think that's not just the situation where you feel, this is not the only situation you can feel like an hypocrite. There are points to, like, when you're challenged with your own beliefs, and when you start feeling like, maybe I was wrong about it, thinking about it that way. It is okay to feel that way first.
Correct.
Of all,
Yeah.
because
No one
you
sits
know,
you down and
yeah,
tells you, right, that this
it's,
is okay.
It being challenged by your own ideas is difficult,
Right.
very difficult, but
But important.
yeah. And you need to, and I think the biggest thing we can do here is keeping ourselves open to hearing out that other side of ourselves. If we are being a hypocrite, why is it that we are doing whatever we are doing right now? Is it correct for us to go that way, and maybe we need to course correct ourselves?
Yeah.
Or is it that we need to kind of understand that situation for ourselves in general and be open to hear the other side out? I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, we
today
find
as
it
well. Like,
very difficult.
people
like-
don't want to listen to that
Yeah,
other
we were just
perspective.
talking about this like a while ago, that we're just so abhorred by the idea of listening to an opposing view, right? Like, it's like makes you physically uncomfortable when someone is saying something that goes against what you believe in. And we've somewhere down the line, because of so much freedom of expression and thought, just lost the ability to sit in a discussion where we don't believe. Like, we find it difficult to just sit when someone's talking about something that's not 100% mirror of what we think. And I think that takes a lot away from us, because it's only through those, not only, but it's often through those friction kind of discussions where you can really lower your guard and just see a different side of things. Because otherwise you're just going to be stuck in your own filter bubble.
Yeah.
You're just going to keep reading alike thoughts and keep meeting alike people, and you'll just be in a very weird homogeneous world where everyone looks like each other, dresses like each other, says the same thing. But that's just like Black Mirror creepy.
Like it is important to have opposing thoughts,
Yeah.
right? That's what makes you you. Yeah, you're not always going to agree with everything another person says
Correct.
because they are coming from a very different perspective. They've been through, and I think we all are a product of our own environments, right? The
Correct.
way we've grown up, the way our thinking is shaped by how we've like what is around us and how we are growing up towards it, and that's why it's important to understand that other side of things as well, and that's why challenging your own beliefs can be difficult because you're not you've grown up thinking a particular way, and you changing yourself, especially mentally, is a very big challenge. People don't talk about it enough. People don't mention it because I think people know that when you're physically hurt, you need to do something about it.
Yeah.
Like even as kids,
That's
I
such a
think
good
this
point.
is something another thing we were talking about before. That Z said earlier was that even a 7-year-old kid will come up when he's hurt and want a bandage, and he'll ask for a bandage. He knows what to do
Correct.
to fix it, or she knows what to do to fix it. But what about when we aren't?
Yeah.
It's not a physical
Yeah,
pain.
we don't
It's
even.
it's if it's hitting you mentally, what do you do about it?
Like you know that you're not supposed to touch a
Yeah.
open wound, right? That just makes it worse.
And
But
India, I think the biggest problem is we never outright talk about, like, if someone says they are going to a therapist, people don't think of
Yeah,
it like they're
it's-
trying to help themselves mentally. No,
Nah.
people will think अरे ये तो
yeah, that-
एड़ा है. हाँ.
like it's like a stigmatic situation,
Yeah.
and you're just like talked down to, and most people who figure out that you have something wrong with your thoughts just give you like stupid advice like sleep it off, or just go get drunk, or let's smoke a joint, and so
हाँ अरे ये ले
like
एक मार हो
एक-
जाएगा.
that just takes us to a reflection of where we are moving as a generation, where we're just becoming like, we're sort of taking the paracetamol approach, which is, you have cancer, here, take a crocin.
This kind of reminds me of a joke that
Sorry if that was an insensitive cancer joke, but
oh
I'm
yeah.
what I meant is, like, you have a bigger problem.
My dad had cancer, man. No, I'm not even that's not a joke. My dad did have cancer. No, but
I'm just going to stop talking now.
it's okay. You can make like
No.
it's stupid jokes that we make. It's
Yeah.
fine. Like
Yes.
we aren't gonna be, are not candid ourselves. We can't
Yeah.
be not ourselves
Correct.
right now here.
See, the point is, it's a
fine.
safe space, and he hasn't
Yeah.
punched me yet.
Yeah.
You
It is
so
a very safe
it
space.
is a safe space. So the
He
idea
is at my house though, so
Yeah.
there is a there is a possibility he might not reach his own house.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right. Anyone who's hearing this, I'm blinking twice.
Yeah. Oh my. But
No,
yeah,
so the point is, we're looking at paracetamols and painkillers to
Yeah.
really cure much
and
bigger problems.
This is something that reminds me of a joke that Veerdas made in his recent comedy special. If you guys have watched it, it's on Netflix. It's really good. You should check it out.
Yeah.
He
What's
talks about
Netflix?
what's Netflix. You should. He talks about how we all have, like, as kids everyone has had Chyawanprash in general, right? You know how it tastes. It's really and it makes you feel really icky. So he talks about how, like, Chyawanprash is one of those things, like, if you have a headache and then someone stabs you in your spleen, you don't have a headache anymore. You have another problem, but you don't have a headache anymore.
Yeah.
That's what Chyawanprash does. And this just reminded me of
Yeah,
that
right?
stupid joke about, like, yeah, man, like,
A mental problem is a mental problem.
Yeah.
You can't sleep over it. You can't smoke a joint and be done.
Yeah, you can't forget it with alcoholism.
Yeah,
That's
I
how
mean-
alcoholism begins. Alcoholics Anonymous is a thing because of
Yeah.
this. So
Like, you can't trade one addiction for another.
Mhm.
That's not really curing. That's just swapping, right?
Yeah, you're not improving yourself.
Yeah.
You're just putting something or trying to fill that void. Like I
Yeah.
said, like, people fill their own voids
Correct.
in their own ways.
Correct. Ooh.
And I think for me it was food. For someone it could be I don't know, alcohol. For someone it could be drugs. Someone it could be sex. There's nothing wrong. Like, there are people who just go around and not be in, like just do one night stands, don't want to be in a relationship, but and it's completely fine.
Those
to
people
be
are very
that way.
cool, by the way.
Yeah, it's completely fine to be that way if you just want to.
Yeah,
you don't want to have a relationship.
That's what you
That's
want.
fine. That's your
You don't
your
need to
thing.
justify.
You want to. Yeah, you don't need to justify it.
But yeah, the
But-
point is, if you have something that's the equivalent of a physical wound on the inside of your head, you aren't taught how to deal with it.
Yeah.
You're rather told to
We
keep
don't-
rubbing on it.
We just have first aid, but not mental aid in general.
Right,
in this
right,
matter,
exactly. So everything that we understand as a mass society is on the physical. If we can see it, we believe it. If we can't, then it just probably doesn't exist. And that's why it's so much more important to like really realize where you are in your thoughts. From time to time, you don't have to be diagnosed to have a problem to start really being wary about curing it. You could start much before. If you're somebody who feels you're completely fine, you need this as much as somebody who feels that they have an issue. And
I think and this kind of like what you mentioned about you need to kind of see it to actually have that in your mind, or think of it as a problem. I think that's the issue that most people don't realize is
Correct.
that even when we are facing our own problems that are taking place right now, like I think if we can take our own examples here,
correct.
is we are looking for placements, right?
Yeah, jobs.
That is the biggest problem we can visualize now for ourselves.
We got food to eat, house
Yeah.
to stay in.
Yeah.
Our bills are being paid, but we want.
No, but like we want to be independent, and that's
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest.
Correct.
And I mean, for me, I can still say like I'm working with in my own company in a way with my mother, and oh wow, that sounds like how do you have a problem? But I think the thing here that comes up is I want to be independent. I want to be my own person, and how do we get out of that shadow of and I think the biggest problem we visualize right now is we don't have our own jobs, or we are looking for jobs because we are completing our MBA the next 2 months.
Yeah, not that it's going to go out there and suddenly make
Yeah.
everything better, but at the same time, we have this weird habit as people where we sort of undermine our own problems,
Yeah.
right? Like what I was just saying, or what we were just saying, that we have everything, but we are worried about jobs. Well,
And just
doesn't
the fact,
matter.
and like looking at everyone getting placed, or
Yeah.
we don't realize how much of a pressure we are putting on ourselves.
correct.
It shouldn't be so much that it consumes each and every second of our thought,
True.
right? But yet it does.
True.
We always are constantly thinking about what if we don't get placed, what if we don't get any work, what are we going to do then?
Correct.
So it's not going to be just black and white.
True.
It's not going to be like either you get placed or you don't get placed. So it's not just like the main thing is we know our problem, but we are very scared to start working for it.
Okay.
I think I know I am at times. I feel like कॉलेज में आएगा कोई कंपनी, अरे मैं फिर अप्लाई करूँगा और उसमें बैठूँगा. But what else am I doing for it?
Correct.
Am I just looking at it that way? And I think many people are sorted in that way, like of understanding they need to do this, and I have this problem because I have a very particular place I want to get into, very particular space and role I want to get into, and that's why I don't sit for each and every company. And I think that in itself, that I've put constraints on myself, requires me to work hard to get that particular space and job that I want to work in. If I don't put in the work, who's gonna look at me? Who's gonna be interested in me, right?
I will look at you.
You.
Yeah, see guys, safe space.
Yes, sir.
Not that safe a space, but kidding. No, he's right. He makes some good points that if you have goals, you need to go out. I don't even know how
And
we are on
stopping
goals.
ourselves is I think the biggest block we have for ourselves, because we are very comfortable in our own space right
Yeah,
now, right?
you're standing
Everybody
between
is.
you and yourself.
Yeah. And I think that is something we always for the people who watch anime, if you've ever seen Kuroko no Basket or Kuroko's Basket, actually why am I talking about this? Nobody will understand this.
No, they will go on talk about it. It's a safe
so
space.
there's this thing about these guys like to play basketball a lot, and the biggest thing the thing stopping themselves from reaching that next level is like them being too much in their own ego at times. One of the biggest problems one person faced, or the thing stopping him from going into the next level of being the best basketball player in that particular area, was him not like getting over his own ego in a way. You can call it like he knew that he was very good, but he never looked beyond that. Like, why does he play basketball? Like, it's not just because, oh, I'm very good and nobody can beat me. Sure, but what else? And I think they called it the zone in this. And when you go deeper into the zone, there's another gate that's always stopping you from reaching the next level, and that gate usually was blocked by, in this case, it was their teammate. Like, understanding that teamwork and all that is very important, and you need to trust each other. And I think in this case, for us, it would be trusting ourselves to be able to take that next step. Sorry, anime talks, man. I kind of, I mean, I watch a lot of anime, so I guess
So that's the good part, right? Like when you can draw parallels and give people analogies.
yeah,
That's
but
the whole idea.
it's a very niche here. I mean, I doubt anybody would understand. But sure, if anybody got anything from it,
Yeah.
yay. But yeah, so
Well, so yeah, I think at this point I'm running out of things to say. But
no, I think this topic is a very
it's-
heavy topic.
yeah, like
right?
by no means is this
we
supposed to
we
be.
don't want to encroach on territories that would
Yeah. Yeah, but that are sort of course,
hurtful.
beyond our means.
yeah.
And,
And everybody, as we said, everybody has the
yeah, this is not us coming with, okay, these are the problems, this is how you solve them. No, this is just us talking about how those problems affected us and whatever little we did or we didn't to make us feel where we are. I mean, I think we just have to really talk, man. Like, if you can talk with a friend, go for it. If you can't,
again, you can talk to us.
Talk,
We'll be
yeah.
available on various social media, and
Yeah,
we'll have the same name, Sheeples.
yeah.
Sheeples
And
is
it's
something
anonymous, right? So it's
Yeah.
beautiful. You don't got to tell me who you are. I don't have to, whatever. I mean, just the fact that there is an open channel and there is a safe space can sometimes be all that's required.
And again, we would love to hear your thoughts about the same thing. Maybe we are wrong about something. We would love to know if you
most
feel like
certainly
we've
wrong about
yeah.
a lot of things.
I mean, yeah, maybe we can like we are definitely gonna be wrong about a lot of things
yeah,
for
but
many people.
that's
right?
beautiful,
Like,
right? We're just accepting that we're wrong. But do you know how difficult it is for so many or most people to just accept that they could be wrong? Like, like I know so many people who have a tough time. They will pretend right through everything, even if they don't know it, just because they're afraid of admitting that they might not know. Like, people who'd answer a question even if they don't know the answer. I mean, that's admirable, but I think the humility in life is that you can always be wrong and seldom be right.
I mean,
but as long as you have people to
and
talk about.
if you're going through, and again, the reason we stress about people to talk about, and this is from my own example, is when my college got done, when degree college got done, and before I started my post graduation degree. In between there was a period of it was a basic drought. I did do another course in between and all that, which is fair. I studied digital marketing and all that jazz, but yeah, in between it was a very empty 2 year, well, not 2 years, 1.5 year between middle of 2016 and the whole of 2017, because 2018 was the year I started my post graduation. It was, and in between I was working with my mom on our own company, trying to set it up, trying to get something going for us. And during that period I felt very I don't know, purposeless, worthless. I don't know, I didn't feel right. It felt like I'm doing nothing
Something
at the
is
moment.
missing.
I felt like I'm just stuck in one place while everybody else is moving ahead.
Correct.
And it wasn't the best feeling. It wasn't just me. And the biggest thing here was another friend of mine from college, from NM basically, was in around the same space. We kind of were understood each other's plight, because we both wanted to finish up with a post-grad degree and be able to move on with our lives ahead. But that 1.5 year was so difficult, because each and every day we used to wake up and feel the most what are we doing with our lives? Why are we here? What is wrong with us? And the only reason we were able to, I think, get through a lot of it was because even though we didn't talk every day or we didn't need to talk, we knew that no matter what, he's there who understands, and I'm there who understands his plight, and we can share our experience of being in a very shitty spot, but we could share it.
Yeah.
And we understood each other, and sometimes that's all it takes
That's all.
to not go deeper into a space where you can at times hurt yourself,
Correct.
right? And I've seen a friend of mine hurt themselves. I've seen that person never spoke, but I've seen him fall from a third floor and jump, not only fall, like jump, and seen, and it's I think the one of the most shocking things that could have happened. And I wish I could have understood what he was going through and why he did what he did, and we'd never know. There was it just we don't want people to reach that point. And always, like, if you feel like there's no one else, that's why we say, like, if you just want to voice out your opinion, you can voice it out to us.
Yeah.
We aren't professionals.
Just talk.
Like, just to put it out there, we aren't
Yeah.
professionals, and we can't magically solve everything,
Yeah,
because
just-
we ourselves have not solved anything for
Yeah.
ourselves.
No, but what we are is just a bunch of non-judgmental people who are
Yeah.
just. I'd like to believe that we're unbiased and that can just lend an ear, and like sometimes you have problems and you don't want solutions. You just want somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
So if you want us to be that,
Sure.
do that, man.
And
like I know
yeah.
that everyone's not always looking for solutions.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to talk to a blank space, but it's better if there's a person there. But you also want that person
So-
to not respond back.
Yeah.
So we can do that, man. Just wherever you are, and no matter how tough you think it is, we're here.
Yeah.
Or your phone recorder is here.
Yeah,
Or
like-
however you want to.
Or whoever you want to
Whoever
talk
you
to.
want to, right?
Like, it
Yeah.
could be your parents of all people. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be anybody else.
Correct.
Just, they are there. And this is, I think, the first thing we really wanted to talk about, because
True.
I think this is something that's
Like,
been plaguing us.
Yeah, make the jump from conversation in head to conversation vocal.
Yeah.
Make that
Yeah,
jump.
yeah.
Like, because that's how procrastination thrives and festers, right? It just stays as thoughts. But the minute you sort of write them down or you sort of speak them, you sort of made them immortal. So please just make that transition from mind to words, and it doesn't matter who
Yeah.
those words go out to, but just be in a safe space or be with somebody who
Yeah.
can create
Yeah.
that.
I think, I guess this
This
has
is-
been our first
this is a
podcast.
good
This was the first time we ever, picked up a phone. We don't have any place that we are going to upload it yet. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe Spotify, maybe some other place. So wherever we do, if you feel like we
Yeah.
can be someone who can talk to you about random shit, because
Yeah.
this is not the only we aren't going to be deep all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, we aren't pretentious all the time like
True.
that.
I'm
We are going,
Talk about a lot of topics.
Yeah, we're going to talk about everything, and
Like-
we are here to learn from you.
Yeah.
We hope
probably
to,
some interesting third wave
yeah, and
coffee.
we might be able to maybe get in contact with like, I don't know, like have a fun time in general with each other.
Yeah.
Right? We would love to hear your thoughts. We would love to have you be a part of our journey to understand what's happening.
True.
And if we can, we'll try to be a part of your journey in
Yeah.
some way or the other. So
That's what we're here
Yeah.
for, right? All of us to teach and to
So,
learn.
this has
from
been
each other.
1000 minus 7 for today. And
Z out.
Z. Yep. See you guys.